How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Fraud on the Telly. Today, we have to talk about last night's episode of Critical Role and the absolute insane return of one of the nastiest villains in Critical Role history. That's right, today we're talking about Delilah Briarwood as Bell's Hells try to save their friend Laudna's souls from the clutches of this evil woman. As always, if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, make sure you cast blight on that like button, resurrect the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that tiny bell. Let's just get right into it, shall we? So where we last left off, Bell's Hells had just entered into some strange upside-down version of Whitestone. Even at the end of this episode, we still don't exactly know what's going on with this city. Where the heck are Bell's Hells? A bunch of people speculated that they were in the Shadowfell, which is possible. Possibly they're also in some kind of dimension or plane that Vecna has created. We really just don't know. But this city, in many ways, does seem to be a manifestation of either Laudna's mind or her emotional pain. And wow, is it freaking terrifying. All of the buildings are like super jutted out in crazy, creepy directions. I believe they're also made of freaking bone. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Chetney that went to kind of chisel off a piece of mortar of this house, and it broke off like bone, and it was bleeding. The city itself seems to be alive. I'm getting a lot of Thar and Fala-esque kind of feel here from campaign 1. The city even going as far as to attack our party members multiple times as a giant skeleton erupts out of nowhere chasing them. Matt uses the first half of this episode to lead the party through Laudna's history. The party come across Laudna in kind of this small spirit form of her as a young girl talking to another young boy here in Whitestone. This seems to be some kind of manifestation of a memory or some kind of a moment in Laudna's past. We come to find out her real name is Matilda. This scene was super hard to watch. It actually made me really uncomfortable as the two children speak back and forth. The young boy asking Matilda if she wants to play a game with him. The game is called Secret Treasures, where one child would tell another a secret and the other child would give them a gift in response. I don't know, it just gave me these real weird, creepy vibes. You know how cruel children can be. Imogen tries to warn this young little spirit version of Laudna. Man, poor Imogen, this episode, you could tell, was really hard on her and hard on Laura, as she constantly was trying to save Laudna, save Matilda, but these were just memories. There really was no saving or altering the past here. Come to find out, the boy's treasure that he was going to give Laudna Matilda was a pocket full of rocks and dirt as he throws it at the little girl. Shoutouts to Matt here, by the way. This dude really went crazy with some of the kind of mechanics and the interactions and skill checks that were going on throughout this episode, as well later in the fight. Matt really knows how to push the limits and kind of the intricacies of the dynamics and the mechanics in 5e and make it a much more fun game, because vanilla 5e gets really boring after a while, so it's really cool. You can learn a lot from him in just kind of the little things that he does as a DM. They follow Laudna's spirit to a barn where she has made these two little dolls. One seems to be wearing Delilah's necklace, her arcane focus. I wasn't exactly sure if that's what they were describing here, but it very much seemed to be that. Let me know in the comments down below. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I saw people on Twitter and Reddit also saying that's what it was, but you never know with Matt. After a little ghostly gambit with Laudna's parents, a small little encounter, Matt very much seemed to be trying to get as much of the resources out of the party as possible, as remember, they had to astral project to get here. So if they drop to 0 hit points, they go back to the material world, but because of that, they need to make sure they keep themselves as high hit points as possible. I thought this was a fun little dynamic kind of setup here, where the fear of death is pretty much gone, as it's pretty unlikely that their tethers, like linking them to their body, the only thing that could kill them in the astral plane, could be cut. It's very unlikely. There's a few things in the world of D&D that can do it. I'm sure Matt has homebrewed some stuff, but it's pretty unlikely. So while the threat of death for our cast members isn't as much there, the threat of failure is almost more so, because they know that should they drop to 0 hit points and get sent back to their bodies, the fewer there are of them there, the less likely they are to bring their friend back. After much meandering throughout the city, the group finally make their way to the Sun Tree as a path opens up for them. The city constantly was moving and changing and trying to attack them the whole entire time they were in there. And they finally come face to face with Delilah. Well, at least kind of a spiritual visage of Delilah. It seems the cast have learned a bit from their mistakes with Otahan, as they do attempt a conversation here. Now, this whole entire conversation seemed like it was never really going to go anywhere unless Delilah yielded in some way. Cheney rolls a really clutch insight here. It seems that Delilah is fading quickly possibly, and that Laudna is her best way back into the material plane, back to resurrection, so she can continue all of her horrible, evil shit that she wants to do in the world. She most likely has other ways that she could come back to life, but they probably are much harder and would take much longer. Basically putting her in a bit of a bind here, ultimately resulting in the combat, as we knew that this was how it was going to go, as there was absolutely no way Imogen and Laura were going to let that bitch get away again. Before it breaks off, though, they do manage to convince Delilah to let them talk to Laudna for a brief moment, as Matt brings Marisha back to the table for this, like, crazy moment. You could tell Marisha had no idea what was going on. It was a really, really emotional exchange between her and Imogen. I'm really wondering if there actually is some kind of like shipped kind of love vibes here. Combat breaks out. Matt made a super awesome map as per usual. It's crazy feeling like, hey, we're back in Whitestone having another combat in October, like just like we did years ago. Sam is going as far as to continuing wearing the same clothes that he wore all those years ago. Just a really weird, surreal feeling for a fan who's been watching for a long-ass time to see events almost replay themselves. Time is but a circle, as they say. It's just really freaking weird. Matt made a really cool combat mechanics here. Delilah's health being linked with kind of the health of the tree, as Laudna is buried deep within it. Very JRPG-esque here. Matt really doing God's work out there, spicing up 5e combat, because God, is it so freaking dull. It's the part of D&D that I dislike watching the most, and generally if I'm watching a VOD or a video, that will go on 2x speed for me during the combat. The fight, however, does not seem to be going Bell's Hell's way. They are doing better than their Otahan fight, though. It seems that they have learned some things since then. Thank goodness. But still, they are a group of level 7 party members going up against Delilah freaking Briarwood, even if she is weak and kind of a shadow of her former self. We gotta remember, this chick was bad news. If you weren't a fan of Campaign 1, let me tell you, I'm talking like Aya Vecna bad news. FCG and Orem dropped to 1, getting sent back to the material world when a huge series of clutch rolls happened. The rolls were crazy on this episode. Thank God, because they had been rolling so bad lately that they really needed some luck here. Laura makes some super clutch plays here. They had all taken Dunamancy potions before this encounter, which that alone is kind of crazy, because the fact that Dunamancy, this kind of thing that was introduced in Campaign 2, that their former characters had a huge influence on basically ultimately circulating throughout the world, Essex becoming a war criminal for this, the fact that their characters in Campaign 3 get a hand on motes of possibility, Dunamancy vials, that is what eventually saves their friend. It's just kind of crazy. We're living in a simulation, man. Imogen uses her mode of possibility to make Delilah rolling an attack that would have most certainly hit her and probably knocked her out. She rerolls the attack and misses Imogen. Imogen then uses her last 3rd level spell, which she had been saving to message Pike, to cast a lightning bolt on the tree, presumably doing double damage here as it sets the tree on fire, probably doing upwards of 60 damage, getting the how you want to do this moment, saving her friend, presumably. The episode cuts there, though, as we're unsure exactly how this is going to play out in the next episode. It's most likely that they're going to have to do another resurrection ritual. I'm curious if this is going to be an auto succeed or if there's going to be a chance for failure. Surely if Pike does it, it's most likely an auto succeed. But we're really just going to have to wait and see. I saw a lot of people online, by the way, saying they think Matt fudged some numbers here on this last roll, giving Laura and Imogen kind of the dramatic visual moment that she very much deserved here in this fight. I'm not sure if he did. I wasn't over here counting the health point numbers, and it's not like we know how much health points that the tree or Delilah has, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with fudging numbers as a DM or giving someone a thematic moment if they deserve it. This is Imogen's best friend that she's trying to save, someone who she loves deeply from this horrible evil witch of a woman. If anyone deserves a thematic moment, especially considering the play that she made in that turn, it's got to be Laura. And regardless of what he did or not, personally, I don't really think it matters at all. I'm super excited to see what happens next episode. I really hope we get Laudna back, but we don't know what Matt's going to do. There is a possibility that it could fail, I guess. We really just don't know. But wow, can we just take a second and just realize just how crazy of a last few weeks of episodes of Critical Role we had, all because of one deadly encounter. It just goes to show you, we've talked about this in several other videos on our channel recently, just how crazy death in D&D can be. I mean, it completely derailed everything that the party was working for. They all just diverted their paths dramatically, bringing in crazy elements of Campaign 1 into our story, huge crossover, all these really epic moments that we weren't sure if we were ever going to get, and if we were, it could have been, months down the line from now, all because of a death, one character death. From this really sad moment, we've got some of the most incredible roleplay ever. And so I salute you, Matthew, for being a deadly DM. DMs out there, don't be afraid to be a little deadly. You never know what kind of stories that your party can tell when you give them such a powerful roleplay element like death. That being said, now, we don't need to be TPKing our party for no reason. I did not say that. I think that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode of Critical Role in the comments down below. What do you think is going to happen to Laudna next episode? Do you think Matt fudged the numbers? And do you even care? I appreciate you guys for all your continued support. We wouldn't be here without you guys, so I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. As always, guys, stay safe out there. Peace, love, adu.